welcome back to the World Tour Wednesdays, presented from our mystery location. Tell me if you can work out where I am between moving homes. And today we're going to be checking out the music of New Zealand. Now, New Zealand's a really interesting one, as you guys might well know. It's a country that a lot of people will have to admit they don't know any music from. It's a country that we all know has a lot of culture. I mean, whether you just think of it as being that beautiful place where they filmed Lord of the Rings, that's what a lot of people associate it with, or whether you think of it for the All Blacks and rugby, or whether you think of it for any number of other things. It's a country that we all kind of know has a lot of character, and yet we don't know much about it. A musical is one of those big things. Now, obviously, we have the joy of having our very own resident New Zealander who gets involved in a lot of our conversations, has been helping me compile this list for the World Tour Wednesday. And by the way, if you want to help us compile any of our lists for any of our future reviews, then feel free to go onto our Reddit page, and you can get in the conversation on Discord as well if you want, or even do it on our Facebook or the YouTube comments here. And you can tell us what you want us to listen to. Now, he suggested a few songs, and they're the ones that I'm going to be going through, as he knows what he's talking about. But the first one we're starting with is a group called SHIHAD. I think I'm pronouncing that right. And it's a song called Home Again. Now, as far as he's mentioned to me, they are if you like, the most familiar name from the New Zealand music scene. And they're one that I must admit I've never heard of before, but this is apparently their well-known single as well. Now, he's given me a few links, but the reason I decided to go for this one is, as usual with the World Tour Wednesdays, we always aim to go for, if you like, the thing that gives us a really good idea of what's popular or was popular in the country. And obviously a big hitting single is going to be a nice quality recording where you can really pick it apart in the way that sometimes you can't always with live music. But this is what I'm going to go for. And as always, if you want us to come back to another artist, yes, next week we'll move on to a different country, but that's not to say that we won't go back and check things out if there's something that you guys want us to listen to more, or if there's some more points you want us to follow up on. So it's not the end of the road, certainly, but this is at least a starting point. We're going to be listening to SHIHAD with Home Again now. And I just want to point out quickly, in case you're wondering, yes, the audio quality on these World Tour Wednesdays this week is a little bit weaker, because I've just really got back from travelling to wherever I am, unpacked my bags, and I haven't really had time to set much up. So apologies about the quality of the audio on these World Tour Wednesdays this week, but hopefully that will just be for these 3 songs that we're doing today, assuming none of them get blocked. Anyway, enough waffling, let's have a listen to this together. This is SHIHAD with Home Again. Everything about the video and the sound is just saying 90s indie rock. It's got a lot of impact, a lot of kick, but I'm waiting for the music to develop and the melody to really pick up. Hoping that's what the chorus is going to be. Second verse, building the tension. The video is like really interesting. There's so much build up. I'm really hoping for a payoff on this one. Oh, I think we have had the chorus. got really nice movement and a really good kick, but there's not much melodic payoff, so let's just go with the impact for this last chorus, I hope. Okay, it's going to play out. Okay. This is a difficult one because on many levels I like a lot of the things that are happening there, but overall I've got to admit that wasn't really what I had expected, or maybe my expectations were wrong, but the individual elements that really worked about it, I mean, musically was the fact that, like I said, it kept you going, it kept you interesting because it felt like it was building up for something. I'm not saying every song has to have a totally positive payoff. I mean, there are some songs where the whole idea is it builds on tension and it's just about tension. And again, that doesn't mean tension is in a sort of a nervous tension, but it could just be in a sort of a, oh, what's going to happen sort of thing. Sort of positive, like an excitement, I guess you could say. In a way, that's the thing. This has a sort of I guess you could say, a positive excitement, like an anticipation sort of element. It seems like a song that is, if it was in the soundtrack to a movie, you could imagine it building up to, the big crescendo. But then when the big crescendo happens, this song would end, and the crescendo would happen without this piece of music. It does feel like the build-up without the crescendo, therefore, in the simplest possible terms. Musically, it was all very simple, and it had that sort of thing that those 90s, I think the term that's often used is post-grunge songs had, and it was sort of that indie rock thing, you had the sort of guitars held, the brang thing would happen over the top to sort of give everything a bit of a thicker sound, and then you'd have the sort of chugging rhythmic guitar as well. The beat was very sort of straight. Everything was very sort of straight and designed to sort of keep you bowling along. And in that way, it really worked. But I got to admit, for me, there was such a good build-up that, I mean, okay, I can understand why people would find that works, and this is apparently a really popular song, so I have to obviously give over a little bit to the general consensus, because let's face it, music is about entertainment, and if lots of people are entertained, then it's clearly good. But in my mind, I just felt like that was a sort of song where if there had been like a really impassioned, powerful chorus just sort of kicked in at some point, I can almost hear in my head the chorus that I want to hear. It doesn't even have to be complicated, but just something to really throw in a force of passion off the back of one of those verses, or even just at the end of the song, because the song kind of played out whimsically, and that to me was probably the biggest issue I had with it, was that I felt, okay, even if you're going to have this build-up with no crescendo, even if you're not going to round it off yourself and you're going to say, well, this song is all about sort of build-up, it does, however, feel like playing it out like that kind of feels like build-up, and off we go. So you can't really fade that kind of song out, in my opinion. So yeah, I was kind of hoping for like something impassioned at the end, or even that, or just a sudden ending, or something to really, if you like, almost, I wouldn't say reward or thank, or just to bookend the tension. And again, I know I'm using the word tension slightly wrong, but the build-up that this song has, it is a song about a feeling of anticipation. I can't really make out the lyrics clear enough to really put any particular idea on what the message of the song is. But when we're talking about that sort of like that musical onomatopoeia, the fact that, I mean, lyrics, music can have a feeling without lyrics. I mean, a lot of the time people say, well, the song sounds like this, but it's actually about this if you read the lyrics. Well, my argument would be, if you listen to most classical music, it has a certain feeling and there's no lyrics at all. There's certain notes you can pick obviously imply a feeling, and this implies a feeling to me of anticipation. And it sort of rolls along in that way, and it just sort of never seems to conclude. But what is happening for the best part is entertaining enough, it's enjoyable. I think this is one of those songs where I think this would be great for if you're just going for a sort of summery drive. It kind of ends up burning a little bit of a nostalgic feeling as well, maybe. Like I said, I'm not really sure what they were going for with this. It seems to have connected to a lot of people. I can imagine this would probably have been the sort of thing that would wind up in a lot of TV drama soundtracks. You know how there was that phase, certainly in the early 2000s, when American TV dramas especially were turning away from being, this is, by the way, I should point out, I'm someone who doesn't really watch any TV, but I've seen enough to kind of get the idea of this trend. but where you're getting what they call those sort of one-shot things, where instead of it being a cardboard cutout sort of set, a lot of TV programs are being filmed like sort of lower budget movies with, like, you know, the camera angles and everything being more set. And they would always build up to, and every episode would end in something sort of wistful and thoughtful, like a thought of the day sort of thing. That was what they tended to do. And they would always have something like this sort of very wistful style, palatable, soft rock kind of tune, or maybe something acoustic at the end, you know, something that you can imagine people on college campuses sitting down and listening to and going, yeah, deep. This kind of feels like it belongs in that whole genre, and that's not, like I say, that's not, I know it sounds like I'm just hammering in at the song. It's not to say that it's necessarily anything bad about it, I just feel like it doesn't really achieve a huge amount in, you know, it doesn't really go anywhere. It's just kind of, it's nice enough. Entirely forgettable though, entirely forgettable. That's just my honest opinion. As you guys know, we're all about the honesty here, but I would love to hear if you guys could get in the comments and give me more information. Like I said, I do have other links for this band, and we don't just sort of ditch things and say, oh, that's rubbish, we don't like that. I mean, this is a song which, like I say, is perfectly reasonable, just doesn't really stand out to me at all. So if you guys want to give me more links and want me to come back to this on future World Tour Wednesdays as a recap, then please do. I mean, they're a popular band, so obviously they've got stuff which is clicking with people. Maybe they just don't click with me as a band. Maybe they've got other stuff that I'm, you know, maybe I should see more of what they do to understand it. All in all, though, like I say, this song kind of, yeah, if it was on the radio, I wouldn't switch it off, but I certainly wouldn't go looking for it to play again. I think that's the best way of looking at it. So for now, thank you so much for joining us on this particular World Tour Wednesday. We have 2 other songs going up, like I say, hoping that none of them get blocked. These are all artists we haven't heard before on this channel. So, and we're in New Zealand today, so hopefully 3 World Tour Wednesdays from New Zealand will be a really great thing to offer you. The video for this, I just want to quickly point out, the video was really colourful and fun. It's something though, like I say, we've seen this kind of thing, I think really after the Peter Gabriel Sledgehammer video. These sort of videos were quite common. It's nicely done, it's colourful, I love the ideas, but there's seen a lot of things like this. I mean, right down to, it's somewhere between Sledgehammer and Torn by Natalie Imbruglia. It's that kind of everything's changing, but a room is changing kind of thing. So not too much to say about that, but you know, like I said, I'm more than willing to hear more if you guys have got more to suggest. I am excited about the next 2 artists that we've got coming up though, which is, one is a little bit heavier than I'm usually listening to, but we listen to a lot of heavy music on this channel as well, and I do test myself. It's a group called, well, it's a song called Alien Weaponry by a band called Kai Tangata, which is apparently really sort of relates to a lot of traditional New Zealand messages. And then we have a bit of Flight of the Conchords, who are a band who I absolutely love, and we have a song that I've never heard of by them before, so I'm really excited for that. Anyway, enough of me waffling. Thank you so much. Like I say, as always, you can find the links for all of our stuff, including our other social media platforms. Like I say, get involved in the conversation on Reddit and Discord and Facebook and on my Twitter, and even our Patreon if you decide that you like us. Although if you're a fan of this band, you might think I'm a bastard after this review. Hopefully not. Hopefully you like to take all reviews as opinions and get involved in the subjective conversation that we're having. But for now, from Japan, where I'm not actually, I'm somewhere else. Guess. Ciao, ciao.